Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the In Between Podcast. Let's go ahead and get it started. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the In Between Podcast with your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. Now, you might notice a few things, but before we get into it, let's go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely appreciate it, and it helps the podcast stay alive. But yeah, you may notice a few things. One being, I got my big fat D on my chest. That's right. As this podcast airs, it should be end of July or possibly right at the beginning of August. And you know what that means. It's football season at last. And boy, can I not wait for this season to start. I mean, not trying to toot my own horn here. Toot. But got Russell Wilson over at Denver. I'm really looking forward to this season. It should be great. It should be very cool to see him in the orange and blue. Looking forward to that. It's also interesting, too, because we've got some history with Russell Wilson. I believe we went to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. I can't remember if 50 was the one that we won or if 50 was the one that we got destroyed on. But we definitely played the Seahawks, and Russell Wilson and the gang walked up and down that field with no regard for our feelings or like emotions or nothing, dude. They stomped us pretty hardcore. I want to say the final score was like 6 to fucking 94 or something. Like annihilation. One of the worst experiences is watching the Super Bowl, the biggest game of the year, and it's a complete blowout for the other team, of course. But came back, I think the next year or the year after that, and won back-to-back, so that's pretty dope. But it's been a rough couple of years without Peyton. I've been really bringing up the nostalgia of what it was like to be a Denver fan in my younger years of, just complete domination. A long time of getting our ass kicked, and I think things are finally starting to shift in the other directions. But, I mean, AFC West is fucking loaded. Chargers are Chargers did pretty good last year with like their brand new quarterback. Raiders have been pretty strong as of recently. They've been pretty good contenders for a while. And then, of course, Kansas City is always there saying what's up. So AFC West, a tough division for sure. And boy, has it been terrible being on the bottom of this division for so long. But Russell Wilson on the way. So that's going to be pretty sweet. Now, before we just talk about all football for the podcast, let's go ahead and point out the other obvious change in my garments or whatever you want to call it, my outfit. I've got this sweet Karate Kid headband going on. Because if you're a fan of the podcast, you know that this studio gets awfully toasty, especially in these hot summer months, which shouldn't be too much longer. But shout out to my place of employment for these sweet headbands that kind of absorb water, and it's like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like kind of thick in my forehead, but it's pretty awesome. It's keeping my noodle cool, even though I'm pretty sure we're like up in the triple digits up in the studio, but yeah, one thing at a time. But yeah, pretty sweet little Karate Kid action. You guys ever seen that Karate Kid series? I remember when it first started on YouTube, it was like a complete YouTube series, and I think after kind of got some success, Netflix was like, mine. Which was cool. I was pretty happy about it when Netflix snagged it, because it was pretty enjoyable. I mean, I want to say there's been like a slight decline in my interest. Like, it got a little bit campy. It got a little bit like, kind of over it at this point, I think. But I stand by that first season. That first season is solid, and that first season of Karate Kid is like, or Cobra Kai, I should call it. That first season is way better than it ever had any right to be. Like, I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. It's just the value of being like, holy shit, this show's fucking good. But then, after that, kind of lose a little bit of interest. Did you guys ever do karate when you were younger, or do you do it now? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu seems to be like the kind of universal, like, if you're going to learn martial arts, go for BJJ, because that's like the best one, I think. But yeah, I did some karate when I was a younger man, and by that I mean I was like, I don't know, 5 or something. I can't remember too much. I didn't do it for too long. One of my most vivid memories from karate is that the pure shock of when I found out that, like, when you upgrade your belt, you get a certain kind of ceremony. I remember, you're supposed to upgrade your colors. I think it's like white and then green and then yellow or whatever the fuck the order is. I was upgrading from white to, I don't know, yellow, let's just say. And they go, hey, upgraded by punching the fuck out of you. That was like the whole belt ceremony was your sensei had to blast you in the stomach. And I remember as like a 6-year-old being like, I thought this was like a good thing. I thought I did a good job. And I thought this was like a kind of like, upgrading to the next level. But my reward is a punch in the stomach. Which, as a 6-year-old, looking at your 30-year-old sensei, it's kind of terrifying. And then, when you look at it in hindsight, I mean, it's a completely, hands off, it's a completely, like, I get it, looking back, it's, like, pretty valuable lesson when you think about it. I mean, you get to know what it's like to be punched in the stomach. I feel like the fear of the unknown is totally the worst part, right? So knowing what it's like and what to expect in the future is like, all right, kind of valuable. And then also, like, you kind of realize that it's not like the worst thing. I mean, it sucks, but it's like, it's not the worst. But yeah, I remember just being like a little kid and like, okay, stand like this and like, you're gonna breathe out when I fucking go. Like, are you ready? And I'm just being like, yep. Congrats, here's your purple belt. Thank you. Do you ever think about like what it's like to be the sensei and just fucking unload on this little kid? Like, you gotta I guess you have to have some kind of like real sense of your power, cause it's like you want to hit hard enough. Cause I remember getting the wind knocked out of me, but you don't want to break a fucking rib. So you gotta find that happy medium, and then also how funny would it be to be like the sensei of a karate class of like mostly little kids. And then you got this one annoying little kid that's a little annoying, and he's always bugging you, and you're just like, oh man, I can't wait for this kid to fucking promote so I can just fucking yeah. Hey Billy, good job on that. We got that ceremony coming up next week. I can't fucking wait to lay this kid out. Good job, Billy. See you at the fucking ceremony. Good times in karate. I was actually going to talk about other stuff, but that one kind of flew that one kind of flew by, easy breezy, cover girl. So let's get while the getting's good. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the In Between podcast. I am your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. If you haven't already, do me a favor and slap that like and subscribe. Go ahead and, karate chop that subscribe button. I mean, it's just right there. You just have to just poke it a little bit. It's much appreciated, and it helps the podcast stay alive. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.